Okay. I hope you all got some nice photos. But even if you didn't, we get another opportunity as we're getting out of the islands. So does anyone want to guess why cormorants are not as liked around here? So they eat a lot of fish, right? And they excrete quite a lot. And unfortunately, their excretion is acidic for the vegetation around them. So you'll be able to notice some lush green trees on the right, contrasted by the completely white ones. And on top of them, you'll be able to see a bunch of cormorants sitting around. So if you like Toronto Islands, please take a cormorant home with you today. On the right, you'll be able to see a bunch of kayakers and boaters going around. This part of the island is called the Donut Island because of how it has this circular shaped donut almost in the middle. It's one of the quieter parts of the islands, and a lot of kayakers just like them and boaters explore the area and the channel on their own. However, cormorants aren't the only ones who get fish around here, guys. Fishing is legal in Lake Ontario. Some of the fishes you can hope to find around here are carp, pike, bass, catfish, sunfish, and even salmon, actually, at the right times. All you need is a day permit, and you don't even need a day permit if you're 65 and older around here. If you're lucky, you might also be able to spot around here some turtles going around, some beavers obviously, raccoons and coyotes, believe it or not. Our theory is that when the water freezes over in the winters, they most likely just walked over to get to the islands, loved them so much that they never left. They are still roaming around these islands. On the right, you might also be able to see some Canadian geese going around. Nothing like their name, by the way. Beautiful to look at, but if you get on the wrong side of the Canadian goose, it's gonna chase you for miles. Now, while Hanlon's Point is one of the quieter parts of the islands where people go to get away from the crowds, Middle Island on the left is almost always crowded. There are always families coming around here for picnics. There are people going about, there's business around here. There was Indian festival going here just a month ago where people were coming over in scores. It is sometimes confused with another popular island around here, which is Center Island. And the reason for that is because there is a vintage amusement park on Middle Island, which is called Centerville. It's one of its kind. If you're visiting Middle Island, do check it out. Some of the rides there are free for children as well. However, one of my favorite things to do at Middle Island is to actually ride the Sky Ride, which is a tram that goes up and gives you views of the surrounding islands and the Skyline, so you get some beautiful photos out of it. Now, looking at these islands, you might have already guessed that City of Toronto has put in a lot of emphasis in maintaining these islands as parklands almost, trying to reduce as much as man-made construction as possible. However, one small exception is coming up on our right. These are radio towers, and the ones who are aware of the technicality of it will be able to notice how they're not as tall as some of the traditional radio towers. That's because they give out AM frequency transmissions for the CHIN broadcast network. Canada being true to its nature, the broadcast that goes out of here goes out in at least 50 different languages. Anywhere from Punjabi to Portuguese. If you can think of a language, it is most likely being transmitted out of here. Also gives us some of the shallower waters around here on the right, which usually gets a lot of fishes and attracts beautiful birds like the egret right there, the lone egret. A very interesting bird. It usually uses its beak like a spear almost to catch fishes. There was also a large blue heron that has been seen around here. Also frequented quite a lot by cormorants on the left. Now this brown building in front of us is an interesting one as well. This is one of its kind. It's an elementary school for the kids on the islands. Unlike us boring people, they come here to take their morning classes on kayaks. However, once they're done with their elementary schooling, they do have to join us back in mainland to continue their education. There are unfortunately not a lot of amenities provided for people living on the islands around here. Oh yeah, a bunch of Canadian geese on the right, left I guess. Like how they follow each other. It's a very outdoorsy kind of place. Here's a very cool fact about the Toronto Islands that not a lot of people know about, is that all of these islands are actually connected to each other. So you could start walking from Hanlon's Point, where we started our journey, and walk all the way over to get to Center Island on the right. And because they're all connected, there's no need for a car, apart from some of those emergency vehicles that you'll be seeing on your right. Emergency support vehicles, there are no cars allowed on Toronto Islands. It's the largest car-free community in all of North America, and it's always BYOB around here. Bring your own bikes. This is one of the fishing spots. There are plenty sprinkled around here on the islands. A lot of them are at Hanlon's Point as well, if you keep walking around it. And one of the best bridges that connects to most frequently visited islands around here, the center and the middle, is this bridge right there on the right. It's called the Avenue of the Island. It's a very beautiful name and equally beautiful pathways around it. Complete with quaint little fountains over there. And starting at this bridge till the very end of this stretch of water, this is where we started our journey. This whole stretch of water is called the Long Pond Stretch. And on the Long Pond Stretch is where we have our boating festivals. The Chinese Dragon Boat Festival and the Regatta Day Boating Festival that happens on 1st of July every year. Does everyone know what happens around here on 1st of July? We celebrate Canada Day on 1st of July, which is why the Regatta Day Boating Festivals happen around here. Okay, as you guys are enjoying some beautiful Slovenian views, we want to take a short break from the tour. If anyone needs any refreshments, the way to get down is from the stairs that are there. And we're going to start the tour very shortly. Thank you. As we slowly head out of the inner islands, you can keep your phones and cameras ready as we get another beautiful view of the skyline for photo opportunities. Feel free to move around the boat, making sure you're taking photos carefully, however. Thank you. Alright guys, I hope you've been enjoying so far, and I hope you guys got some nice photos as we're getting out. Let's continue the tour. There was someone asking me about how to get to the islands. The absolute best way to get to the island is actually to take a ferry. And you can catch a ferry. We can always vibe with the music at the tour, why not? So you can catch a ferry from Jack Layton Ferry Terminal, which is, it actually makes me sound like a waiting elevator kind of guy, you know? You guys can find the ferry from Jack Layton Ferry Terminal, which is just a pier over from where we are docked. Costs about $10 for a round trip, and I always recommend buying tickets online. If you do take the ferry, there's a chance you'll be on the accident surviving ferry when we were talking about at Billy Bishop. So look out for that one. It's called the Sam McBride. Now there are three different entry points to the islands, right? The first one is at Hanlan's Point. The other one is at Central Island, back where we came from. And the third one is on the right, which is where the Ward Islands are. Now the Ward Islands and the Algonquin Islands on the right are the ones which are actually inhabited by people. There are more than 200 homes and more than 600 people living on these islands, which makes it a real community of people. And a very cool fact about the property prices on the islands is that the prices of these properties are actually capped. So you could realistically get a home over there under $100,000, and equivalent of which will cost more than $1 million on the mainland. However, to get a home over there is a pretty difficult task. To begin with, there is a coveted list of about 500 people who can be eligible to purchase these homes. Secondly, you have to keep paying the government $50 every year to maintain your name on this list. And finally, if you do get a chance to purchase a property over here, it has to be your home. That's because Toronto Islands has to be your primary residence. There are no hotels on any of these islands, not since it burned down in 1909, by the way. But yeah, if you're really determined and can somehow live more than 100 years, you might get a chance to live in Toronto Islands. It's a fairly long shot. This is another way to get to the islands, is the water taxi. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's a taxi. It will take you immediately to the island, so you don't have to wait for the ferry. Well, the ferry is definitely a cheaper option. We're going away from the islands and getting back to the mainland. Just want to do this quick little exercise with you guys. If you look at the buildings close to the dock right now, you'll notice that they're all modern, they're all nice. Some of them are even skyscrapers over there. However, you'd be surprised to know that just 50 years ago, all of these were factories. There were factories around Lake Ontario. It was an industrial style dock. There were steamships going around. You can imagine how it must have looked. However, in 1970s, when the closure started happening, the only remaining remnant of that time is that brown building right there, the one with the ship dock next to it. That is the only functioning factory. It's the Red Path Sugar Filtration Plant. This is where sugar is filtered for half of Canada, actually. So if you had a coffee today morning, most likely the sugar came from right here. And the reason it's still operational is because ships just like this come from raw sugar plantations all the way in Brazil and dock right here where the filtration happens. The byproduct which is released into the water is non-toxic. There is some research that shows that there are minerals released into the water which is actually good for it, which is why it's still operational. Hidden behind this ship, you'll be able to see some white umbrellas. That is a man-made beach which has very cutely been named after its neighbor. It's called the Sugar Beach. You'll check it out if you're around. Talking about sweet things, actually, just behind this white shed, where we might not be able to see it right now, but there is a red house in the middle, which is home to beaver tails. Has anyone been to beaver tails yet? Yeah, did you guys enjoy it? It's, as you know, Canada's national animal is beaver, We have a dessert which is called beaver tail because it's shaped like a beaver's tail. You can add all sorts of sweet treats to it, Nutella and everything. Or you could go all Canadian and add maple on top of it. Really nice one. There's a vacation on Middle Island. Down here, the closest one is behind the ship. So that has all that. Has anyone at least tried poutine around here? Yeah? Did you guys like it? They say it's what angels would eat if angels could eat. I don't know about that. But it's basically French fries with cheese curds on top and hot gravy poured on top of it. It's a Canadian delicacy, so do give it a try before you head back. There'll be definitely a story to tell about it. So there we go, we do see the red house in there. That's the geotech location. And just next to this is this beige building with a green roof. A lot of you might have walked past it as you were getting to the dock. This building is Queen's Quay Terminal, and it's got some restaurants at the bottom right now, some office spaces in the middle, and some luxury residences up top. However, when it was created, it was actually a cold storage for butter, among other things, in the olden Toronto. Right now, it's a completely different building. But they have some good photos of the past times, including the kind of industrial era that I was talking about. So if you do visit this building once again, look out for these photos. They're really enlightening to show you how Toronto used to look just 50 years ago. From around here, however, all you can see in the Toronto skyline is skyscrapers. There are at least 106 skyscrapers in the city. There are plans to add 25 more, which would make it, I guess, number 2 in the world in number of skyscrapers that we have. And contrasting against that skyscraper background is a beautiful, beautiful CN Tower. There's absolutely no tour in Toronto that ends without mentioning CN Tower. Just to give you an idea of how tall it is, as I mentioned, Lake Ontario has a depth of about 800 feet at its deepest. If you were to take CN Tower and dunk it into the water, it will only go 2/3 the way. It's that tall. However, I just want to show you guys something really cool. If you look up on the railing right there, you'll be able to notice red dots on the far left side. Those are actually people who have paid to hang off of the CN Tower. It's called the Edge Walk program, and for a low price of 250 Canadian dollars per person, you get a chance to hang off of the CN Tower. Given how expensive this activity is and how cold Toronto can get, I don't recommend doing this activity from the months of January to December. That's just me. It is very expensive. This on the right is the Harbourfront Centre. There is a concert going on, I believe, at the moment. There's almost something happening here all the time because Harbourfront is a communal spot of space. A lot of people were here during the FIFA World Cup as well. A lot of installments, a lot of things going on. They are showing free movies here as well. Every Tuesday there is a list that shows you all the flicks that are playing this week. Oh, and some dinner recommendation for you guys is the Amsterdam Brew House. It's one of our favorites. It's got some good food, good beer, but more importantly, it's got good views. So you can sit right next to the water while enjoying your beer. And that white bridge that goes next to it is also called the Amsterdam Bridge. It was in construction for many years for whatever reason. However, it was inaugurated just last month by our Mayor Chow. Okay, let's see how many of you were paying attention to the safety announcement. Does anyone recognize this building, this green building? This is the Toronto Police Marine Unit. If you're anywhere in the waterways and you call 911, they're not going to be of much help. That's when you call the Toronto Police Marine Unit. Some of the boats they have are so powerful that they can reach anywhere in the islands and anywhere in the waterways in under 90 seconds. Before we head back, this is the final sighting, is the Rogers Center right there. It's a baseball stadium. which is very fondly still known by its former name. Does anyone know what that is? It used to be called the Sky Dome. That's right, because of the dome up there, the white dome, it actually retracts open to show you the 60,000 people that can fit inside this stadium. There's also a hotel in there. I believe it's the Marriott, which gives you views of the game that is happening that day alongside your room, which is pretty cool. Okay guys, as we're heading back, I would request you all to be seated until we have safely docked. The bathrooms are going to close now. However, if anyone has any questions, anything they want to learn more about, feel free to speak with our first mate and our captain. They've been around the islands and harbour for many years. We'll be happy to help you out. If you like the tour, if you like the experience, feel free to show your love as you're disembarking. There's a tip jar right here. Totally optional, but every single tip that you give is divided among every single member of the crew that makes this tour happen every single day. I hope you guys enjoy your stay in Toronto. My name is Suki. You have been a wonderful audience. And thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you.
Just tap and give a donation because of your help, sponsors' help, partners' help. We are able to do